Each mountain, each rock, each blade of grass has its own spirit, called Izi in our language. You can't just pick a blade of grass or a stone and throw it. Each action has its consequences. It's especially true for a human being to which spirits gave the opportunity to live on this earth.
According to the census of 2010, there are only 3,712 Telengits. All that the local nomadic stock breeders possess are their family pastures. Every year in the beginning of summer, the head of the communities, the head of families, women and children gather together for the ceremonial prayer to mark the start of the summer migration. They still follow the moon calendar, according to which they move away from the familiar spot only after the first summer new moon at the start of June.
All that people need to do is stop asking nature for more. Otherwise, the balance between the world of people and the world of spirits will become distorted. Unfortunately, modern people stopped understanding the way that the world functions. They are all like flowers, which don't have time to sow seeds and nourish their roots. That's why their dreams become shallow too.
This is Maria Torlunova, one of the last keepers of traditions and wisdom of these people. The Telengits address her as Dian Adiezi, the elder sister. They prefer calling her not a shaman, but the guardian of the people. It is the elder sister who chooses the place and date for the ritual similar to this one. For the first time in many years, she has moved them to a much later date. It is due to the unusually dry spell in the valley and the ongoing snowfalls in the mountains. How are things in the mountains? Have you left some salt for the axe? Yes, I left some salt. They seem satisfied. They won't leave. Is the passage still blocked by the snow? Yes, the snow from there is up to here. Have you found the yak? No. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. It must have been eaten by the wolves. We have to move. Otherwise, we'll lose half the stock. I am Sana. My brothers are Chechen and Renat. My father is Vladimir. My grandfather is Biche. We come from a family of Akiobiak. Before we had two communities, the Sergei, which means vigorous, and Melche, which means herdsman. In Soviet times, we were given Russian names, Sergeyev, Malchinov. Our ancestors tended their cattle here, in the valley of the Elengash River. We are moving from here to the source of the sacred river of life at the foot of our Dian Iektu mountain. To save the yaks who graze at the foot of the sacred mountain from the wolves, we need to move to our summer location in time. If it snows again, their herders will be cut off from the summer pastures for at least another week. Sana makes the decision to relocate. He is the head of the community, even though he is only 23 years old. People mature fast in the mountains.
Anything can happen here, of course. But my son will manage. We believe in him. Our uncle appointed him as the head of the family. And he trusted him with our pastures, those family lands, for a reason.
Sana has to save the stock, living up to his uncle's expectations. He also needs to appeal for blessing to the ancestors, long deceased, yet having left mysterious carvings behind. The family of the herders treat this place as the sacred place of the ancestors. We want to keep those drawings on our family mountain, Tambatash, for the future generations. During our stay here in winter, we watch them so that no strangers can come up here and spoil them or make strange inscriptions on them.
We don't even allow animals here, so the hieroglyphics can stay intact.
The age of the rock carvings is between a few dozen and a few thousand years old. Those carvings were made in Tanmundash by ancient people. See this camel rider? Look at how beautifully the neck is carved. This is a mountain goat. And again, a horseback rider. Next to him is a wild sheep. This is a hunting scene. By contrast to the Neolithic age classics, modern art is easy to understand. First of all, due to the unexpected story on the lifestyle of the nomadic people.
There are also hieroglyphics of this kind. A car, a nomad's truck, here. People used to travel on camels, but now we use different means of transportation.
This is really so. The drawings of a local Malevich reflect the present, not the past. The present, which does not last the way those mountains do. We normally stop here to honor our spirits to ensure that our journey is successful and so that the spirits will allow us to enter our cherished lands. This is one of the oldest Telengit customs. It goes back to the times of the shaman's sacred rites of offering sacrifices at mountain passes. The sacred Dialama ribbon, which connects the world of the living to the world of spirits of the Altai, has always remained one of its main features. Sana is at the mountain pass in his capacity as head of the community for the first time. He has to perform the worship ritual and at the same time not exhaust the patience of the spirits and his relatives. May the road be open to us. May the road be open to us. May our animals graze peacefully and peace be in our valley.
This is how each year we move from our winter place, the place of our uncle, Vladimir Sablokov, to the summer pastures. We call this sanctuary, made of stone, Ule. Here we give our offerings to Altai Kudai so that he supports us.
The Mongols, Burats, Khalkha, and other nomadic people of Asia called those sanctuaries Obu, which literally means heap or pile. They are located on the roads on the mountain passes. They believe the piles symbolize the way to spiritual cleansing. They call this the White Road. We will need to prepare the place. Have you got everything?
When we get there, we will make an urt and kill a lamb. In the meantime, let's go by horseback.
It is around 10 kilometers to the sacred mountain of Yektu. The biggest part of the journey is done.
The way it was before, Mother Earth nourished people, and the sky quenched their thirst. Today, many people think that you can buy it all in a shop. Get in a car and go. And you don't have to pray for it to build new sanctuaries and honor ancestral sites. But what if one doesn't live in the city, but dreams of something different? About good pastures, weather reports that would allow one to change location in a timely manner.
You can't buy good weather despite technological progress in meteorology. I guess that is why new sanctuaries keep appearing on the maps of the Chuvas Steppe. One appeared recently in the mountain area of Ortalik.
Each family used to have their own sanctuary, not here though, but in the valley. But in the times of Lenin and Stalin, many of those were destroyed.
The Altai Stonehenge was built by the uncle of Sana, Vladimir Sablokov. It was built on the site of an ancient sanctuary which was destroyed in the 1930s. The new sanctuary was named Tagil. Similar to the ancient temples, this place is oriented to the cardinal directions and divides a symbolic circle into 4 equal parts, the focal point of which is the central altar, Achok.
We devote this ritual to our god, Altai Kudai. We give him the best part of the sacrificial lamb as an offering.
This modern ritual follows the ancient canons and starts with the burning of juniper branches.
We call this ritual Dizan, feeding the fire with flesh, a type of offering presented by fat and the meat of a lamb. After that, we sprinkle the rocks of the temple with shegyan. It is something like thick yogurt.
This tradition goes back to the beliefs preceding the shamanistic traditions. When the first Tibetan monks came to Altai, they introduced new white faith, Ak, Dian, or Burkanism. Burkanism followers come here from all over the country. This year, a Telengit from Kemerova came to attend the celebration. He is not fighting for the white faith. He's rather looking for its roots in the Chua steppe, where people have both feet firmly on the ground, surviving despite everything. We live in the middle world. Take any shaman tambourine, yes? There is an underground kingdom, Erlik, and there is a light kingdom with the stars, the world of Ugan, and there is a middle world, the world of El, the world of Ul, Uch Kurbistan. Telengits consider themselves to be Christian, but despite their religion, they continue to perform shamanistic rites and rituals of the distant ancestors. Although that is easy to explain, Christianity was introduced to them only 150 years ago. For thousands of years, the legends and beliefs of all world religions have been intertwined and merged in the Chua steppe. It might be for that reason that Altai of the 21st century turned into a unique place of power where the East meets the West and new Siberia meets ancient Asia. Since time immemorial, the Scythians, the Huns, the Sarmatians, and the ancient Turkomen were buried here. Every community erected burial mounds to honor their ancestors, erected stone stelae, and sacrificial temples. Altai has become a necropolis for them, a mausoleum of the nomadic culture exposed. Some of the exhibits were, however, moved from the sacred plateau to the village museum in Kakoria. It was established only half a century ago by the efforts of the local school teacher Krai Bedinov, who continues to expand this collection diligently. Let's say many of those artifacts were found by us, the members of the club. For instance, this, the sculpture of the ancient Turkic warrior. You know, we discovered it right here, close to the village when they were building a shop there. They threw it out. We found it and placed it here. The ancient, a sculpture of an ancient Turkic warrior. It dates back to the 6th century before Christ. That's it. Another example, we found artifacts such as petroglyphs. I found this one myself in the mountains and brought it to the museum. Today, the local historian is going to visit the sacred places again. This time, Krai, for the first time, takes his grandchild to the Usted Plateau. The locals said that next to one of the stelae, they saw a slab with a rock carving on it, which can easily be taken by one of the tourists. It's better to keep those where they belong. Come here, son, and I'll stay on the other side. This is an ancient Turkic monument, a memory left by our direct ancestors. A letter written in Orkan Turkic. The language of the ancient nomads is carved here. But how did our ancestors pray? How did they worship those rocks, and why, Grandpa? If you look at this part of the rock, you will see strange figures here. These are the drawings of shamans, the people who held the knowledge in the past. This is their leader. Can you see? The one holding a tambourine. Those monuments are sacred to us. They hold special power. I am helping to preserve those for you, and you should preserve them for your children. The grandson of Krai is still too young to grasp the meaning of those words. For him, it is an adventure, an amusing excursion, while for the grandfather, it is a search for his origins, a search for the fragments of the material culture comes second. In order to understand it, though, to keep it in your heart, you don't have to go on a pilgrimage the way Krai does. It can put you in touch with the past, but it will not teach you how to feel in the present, to be a Telengit here and now. The success of a 23-year-old head of the family of Akibiok, who was trusted with guiding the whole community, testifies that one can feel secure not only about the present, but also about the future of this nomadic people. You have to tie the ropes between them together. The strength of the home depends on this.
Can you see up there? It's a symbol of our family. We inherited it from our mother. She said that it shows the circles of never-ending change in location, of eternity. Yes, it looks like an 8. This drawing protected our ancestors in their travel, and it will protect us while we're following their path. While we're not stopping and settling down, and since we haven't traded our yurts for houses.
As soon as a nomad starts decorating his home with superfluous things, furniture, devices, it spells the end for him. According to the Telengits' belief, a good herdsman is not someone whose yurt is bigger, but someone with bigger pastures. If Sana does not keep his eye on them, he will lose his stock in the mountains. Without stock, there is no yurt either, and whether it is a Khan or a rich herdsman, it is not important. Shall we start? Yes, go ahead. Don't laugh yet. You still need to slaughter the lamb. A shepherd is one of the oldest occupations on earth. They have been around since the times of the Old Testament. The herders of the Chuya steppe are not biblical characters and far from being shepherds of human souls. But they've inherited something which is no less valuable, the memory of their ancestors. Don't be angry with us. All of us will follow your way. For now, please give us good, soft meat, feed our people, and nourish the soul with your blood and the spirits of our new settlement. It sounds like a prayer, an appeal to the spirits and a request to bless this sacrifice. There is no way to avoid this ancient ritual. Here is the petroglyph the herdsman told me about. Look how well it has endured. The eagle's at the bottom and the horse without a rider is on the upper part. It represents the ancient idea of the sky and the earth, a symbol of celestial flight and living on earth. Hold it. Enjoy the art of the ancient people. If you look under your feet, you can discover a lot here. Can you see those hearths? Our ancestors performed sacred rituals here. There were hundreds of hearths here before. Have a look, one next to another. Hundreds of tribes came to this valley and prayed to these spirits. And we need to pray to save those monuments. This is the altar of our ancestors. By contrast with Krai, Sana and his brothers have lived next to those ancient tombs side by side since childhood. They treat those places as paths that should not be walked on by the living. The dead have their fate, the living have a different one. To tend the cattle and not to anger the spirits of the sacred mount of Iektu, where the shepherds have finally arrived. A black bull is here, which means that the rest of the flock is here too. Nobody has gotten lost. Yes, the white-faced yak is also here. And look, there are a lot of calves now. I can see one. The white-headed one gave birth. The one with the black eyes. The one further away there. Have a look over there. There, further away. Yes, over there. I see. She calved today. It's a good sign. Our sacred mountain, Iektu, the head of the Savior, Texenbash, must have heard us, since we are enjoying such grace. Yes, I agree with you. I hope the past clears for us too. That'd be superb if the past clears for us, but we can't have everything at once. For many years, the family stock of Sablak of Sergeyev have found shelter at the foot of Iektu. The yaks are grazing here until the pass is free of snow and it is possible to travel to new pastures. There's enough fodder until autumn. However, so far, Sana is powerless to change anything. The herdsmen of the Chua Valley can only hope that the wolves will not arrive here before they can relocate, and that the spirits will hear the prayers of the people. Those three stories appear to be completely different, but they are connected by something grand, the Chua Step, its past, present, and future. The culture of the Telengits, as of all people, is not measured by the achievements of the past generations, legendary heroes, victories, or splendid antiquities, but by the way the new generation preserves their culture in the now. Seeing a world in a grain of sand, an eternity in an hour. This is what constitutes the soul of a family, a nation, and the entire humankind.